Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Jojo Palacio and on this channel we talk about all things beauty. Today we are doing this fall inspired, holiday appropriate, Thanksgiving maybe look, or just everyday. Like, you know, just an not every day, a glam filled moment for you guys right here. Look at how beautiful this look turned out. I'm obsessed. This is absolutely perfect for the holiday season, perfect for the fall time because of the colors. Like, I'm obsessed. And I hope that you guys like it. This is another tutorial featuring another new foundation that I got on my gratis haul. I'm obsessed with these foundations. This one, I wasn't convinced at first. However, once I worked it in with my regular routine, I'm absolutely loving this foundation. And if it lasts as long as it says it does, I cannot wait for you guys to try it, because this could potentially be another one of our transfer proof foundations to put into our arsenal of foundations. So stay tuned for that. Before we get into the tutorial, guys, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday of every single week. Videos on a lot of content, whether it's a blog about my business or a blog about my esthetician profession, makeup tutorials, just a lot of stuff for you guys to share this thing called beauty with me. And I have a goal on this channel to get to 1,000 subscribers. So far, the growth has been real for us this year. You guys have been so good, so good to me. And I'm just gonna ask for a little more. Subscribe and let's make it to 1,000 subscribers by 2021. So let's stop chatting and let's get into this tutorial. All right, guys, hello. Let's get started on this beautiful eye. So brows are done, eyes are prepped with the P. Louise eye base in 5, which is, or 0.5, which is Rumor. It's like the lightest one that they have. I just like something that's super light and brightening for my eyelid. So I put that on with a brush. I use this guy right here, which is the Morphe. It comes in a kit, but it's just a buffing brush, very similar to my Real Techniques crease brush. And for the eye palette today, we're gonna use this guy right here. So this is the Muse Makeup Eyeshadow Palette by the Makeup Shack. And so we've got some really pretty cool tones there, and I plan on using a lot more of the colorful parts for like the holiday season, like December-ish. But right now let's stick to some fall, rich, warm goodness that we've got going on in this other eye. And so to start off, we're gonna start off with the shade Iconic, which is right here in the very top corner. It is like a very tan, similar to my skin tone when it's not like the rest of my body, not the sunscreen part. So I'm gonna take it with the Makeup Shack eyeshadow brush. It's the T59. This is as fluffy and as big as it gets for eyeshadow brushes, but I love the way that this just gets the eyeshadow everywhere. And so I'm gonna build up the color on the brush like I always recommend. Take off any of the excess, and so what you're gonna wanna do at this point is almost tilt your head back a little bit. And so we're gonna start by keeping it on the very top part of the crease, which is literally just tracing that brow bone that you can feel here. So that's where you wanna place your brush. Again, light pressure, circular motions, it doesn't matter if it's inner, outer. I just wiped eyeshadow all over my black shirt. I'll get it off. Doesn't matter if it's inner, circular motions, just windshield wiper, very light pressure. Don't forget this outer corner. All right, so once you've got a good saturation of that color, we can move on to the next color. We're using a Morphe X Jaclyn Hill brush. This is the JH36. So I like to hold them up next to each other just so you guys can see the size difference and the shape. The first one's a lot fluffier, longer, meaning it's gonna spread more color. The second one has similar shape, again, but the bristles are shorter. This has definitely got one type of hair. And it's a little tighter, which means we're gonna be able to control where the color goes better. So we're gonna move on to using these two shades here, which are Ari and Kim. We're gonna do that a little lower than that first color, but also on the crease. So here's where the difference is gonna come in. You're gonna toggle between the two colors and build it up on your brush. You're also gonna use a little more control versus just going in with circular motions. I want you to do inner. So from the outer corner, circle into the inner corner, just to kind of create a shape, and always saturate the outer corner with the most amount of pigment and then build from there so that it's diffused as you're going into the inner corner. When your eyeshadow brush touches your skin, the first spot it should touch is where you want it to be the darkest, which for us is always gonna be the outer corner unless we're going for like a totally smoky eye. So you see how we're creating some depth and we're building it up slowly but surely. Now some of you guys might say, Jovi, I'm a beginner. I don't really know what I'm doing with eyeshadow brushes. I don't want to invest in something super expensive, but I want to learn the difference between brushes. That's okay, girl. So e.l.f. has some really good eyeshadow brushes. So does Morphe. They're very inexpensive. BH Cosmetics has them in kits, which is even better for you. So a kit is going to cost you anywhere from $7 if you catch them on a really good sale to like $12 or $15 max, where at some other brands you're looking at $12 per brush. So look at BH Cosmetics and let me know what you guys think, just because it's a really good way to get good quality brushes. I've had brushes for them that have lasted me years and are still some of my favorite brushes, and they were one of like my first brands that I bought when I was doing freelance makeup. So check them out and let me know what you think, because homegirl needs a code from them, and if you guys love them and you know you share this video, potentially we can get us Jojo Palacio subscribers a code. Love it. So we're using the Makeup Shack T79. I'm holding like 10 things. This is the brush that I'm using. I love this brush because it's nice and big. It covers a lot of area. I don't really need too much detail going into cutting this crease because it is literally so easy. I'm going to take a little more of my P. Louise eye base, and I am going to just work that into the brush. You always want to work stuff into the brush first before you take it onto your skin. You're going to have a lot better outcome when you do that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put it on the lid in the inner corner first, and then I'm going to look up and let it trace its own space up there. And once it does, then I can start to kind of pull it in. And I personally like to use swiping motions when it comes to this because I can blend and cover at the same time. Boom. All right, so our lid is covered. We can go on to the lid shade, but we're gonna switch gears with brushes. So this is another flat brush. However, this is a lot smaller. The smaller the brush, the more control that we have where the products are going. And I'm gonna move on to this shade right here, which is called Legend. It's such a pretty shade. I actually used it dry. I didn't have to wet it. So I'm gonna just pick up the powder. I'm gonna pick up the shadow on the brush. You don't really swirl at this point. You just wanna like tap it so you can build up quite a bit on the brush there. And I'm gonna just swipe it onto my eyelid as well. What I'm gonna do next is gonna go into that outer corner color, and it's gonna be this Resi shade here. It's a pretty rich brown, which I love. Love that brown, it's so good. And I'm gonna use a M433, which is my favorite blending brush of all time. It's nice and small, but yet it's fluffy enough to where we get a good blend. I love to do this for my crease or my outer corner because I get so much control. It's so satisfying. So we're just gonna take that, and again, you wanna deposit most of the product where you're okay with it being the darkest, which is outer corner. And when you're building up color with a blending brush, don't forget to turn the brush over. The other side has a lot of color in it too, and you can just continue to have an even blend without adding so much eyeshadow to where it gets really difficult to blend out. Awesome, guys. So we are literally ready to put some liner and mascara and lashes on. So for liner, what I did today was I used my Stila Stay All Day waterproof liquid eyeliner in the micro tip. I have been obsessed with the micro tip. So if you guys haven't seen this, Stila has two waterproof liquid liners that are amazing. One is a micro tip, which is this one, both felt tip, but the other felt tip, it's a little longer and thicker. And so if you are like a pro at this, you would probably enjoy that one more because it's easier. But this is for us who want control. So I'm just going to very tightly keep this close to the lash line. And then I'm gonna use my Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil in the shade 0 to tightline underneath. For mascara today, I'm switching it up. I'm using the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara to get a nice coat on. And then for lashes, I'm going to use the Beauty Creation lashes in the shade Hermosa, which look like this in the case. Look at how pretty. And then they look like this on. Obsessed. Very subtle, but glam. It's perfect for the holiday fall season where like you know you're gonna go all out with your eyeshadow and you want people to like notice it. So your lashes need to step back for a minute, you know? You know? All right, so let me get this stuff on, guys, and we'll be back for complexion. So for complexion today, we're going to prep very similar. So my prep is always gonna be the same because my prep is based off of my skin type and not necessarily my foundation that I'm wearing. So I just wanna give you guys that little heads up. We're gonna use these guys today. So this is the Dr. Brandt Pore No More Primer, and then this is the Veil Mineral Primer. Oil-free. I like this base around the outer perimeter of my face because it is honestly really, really good. It's got SPF. It also has color correcting, like a translucent finish, which is awesome if you're someone who's got redness or if you've got texture. So for the center of my face, because I've got combination skin, I'm going to use the Dr. Brandt primer. I just take maybe like a half of a pump, if that, and work it into the center of my face to make sure that I am blurring everything out. That also has a pore reducing factor to it, which is why I am so like faithful to it. I have honestly noticed a huge reduction in size, and you can see it almost instantly when you're applying it that it is an eraser for your pores. Like I have not found another product that does not clog my pores that erases them like that. So check them out. And so for complexion today, I am trying a totally new foundation. This is a new foundation for me, actually. So this is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup. I got it in the shade Buff, which because I've been self-tanning is probably gonna be a little too light. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but you know, we cream and color correct here on this channel, so we'll be okay. But I've heard really good things about this makeup. It's a long wearing, full coverage, a little bit goes a long way type of foundation, which you know is our type of foundation on this channel. I just don't like that it doesn't come with its pump, and then I'm gonna have to like probably waste a lot to figure out how much is enough. So I'm gonna start off by taking that much, which is, I don't know. I'm gonna use my Morphe M439 brush, which is my foundation buffing brush, and we're just going to stipple it and buff it on. I've heard both good and bad things about this foundation. Some clients love it, some clients think it's way too heavy, but we'll see. I think it all goes based off of, again, how you prep your skin and how you apply the foundation. So I prepped it. Skincare always first. I always apply my skincare off of camera because that's like one of the first things that I do when I get up in the morning is do my skincare, so it has time to absorb. Do you guys go right away into your makeup when you put your skincare on, or do you let it absorb? I would like to know what the common practice is. I don't know if it's because it's the wrong color or what, but I'm not like crazy about it right now. So, you know, we gotta do the wear test and stuff, so we'll see, we'll see. All right, guys, so let's move on to the rest of the complexion so we can warm ourselves up. I'm gonna use newer products, different products. I shouldn't say newer, different products. So this is a drugstore alternative to my Milk Makeup Flex Foundation Stick that I use to contour or bronze. This is the Wet n Wild Makeup Stick Contour in Call Me Maple. Again, not new to my channel, but definitely not the most frequently used. I just really love the Milk makeup formula. However, this is a really good drugstore alternative. So I'm gonna just use, yeah, this is the right brush. Scared myself for a second. This is the BH Cosmetics #1 brush. This is like an angled brush that I love. It came in a kit, one of those kits that I was telling you guys about that are really good to invest in. And I've used it for blending out this contour bronzing since I've gotten it, and I love the way that it does that. It's a nice buff brush, so it really helps to blend the product in. Oh yeah, definitely needed to get warmed up. That was way too light for me, but you know, like I said, it's a hit or miss with these foundations. If you guys haven't seen that gratis haul, go ahead and look at it. I mean, all of these foundations are honestly so different in color because you don't know. You don't know what you're picking. You go based off of the coloring that the foundation or the brand has in store, and sometimes the formula is just not the same because it's a brand new foundation, duh. But the formula does have a lot to do with how the color looks. So guys, I have the window open because it's just such nice weather. I hope that that's not messing with the sound because, you know. So for concealer, I'm going to use the For a concealing shade in concealer, I'm going to use the Even Better Clinique All Over Concealer and Eraser. I have been loving this to help me color correct. So I'm going to put that right in the smaller triangle and in the red areas I waxed yesterday. And when I wax, it kind of leaves like a little redness behind in the center of my eyebrows. And that's pretty much it right now for concealing. So let me just blend this out with my small Hank and Henry. And I always like to start out by blending the areas away from the under eye, and then I will blend out the under eye. Letting that kind of set and start to dry up a little bit reinforces the color and it gives you more coverage. So it's a little trick. And I'm going to keep this directly underneath in this inner corner here to help me conceal. If you're someone who just wants to conceal and even things out and then keep it moving, you would just do this step. I, however, like to highlight as well, especially underneath of my under eye area and my cheekbones, just to kind of make them come forward. So this is where we would use the larger triangle concept. But as far as concealing, like look at that. Wet under eye circles, huh? This is probably a really good step for clients that are older or have a lot of lines underneath of their eyes. So that's sometimes genetic. And you don't want to layer too much because you know that the creasing's coming. Winter is coming. You can stop here and move on to the setting powder, but we are going to highlight next. Highlighting is usually 3, 4 shades lighter than what your actual concealing shade is. My concealing shade, as you saw, is very similar to the foundation. It just melted right in. There is no color difference. It's just meant to color correct. We're going to highlight now, and this is the Too Faced Peach Concealer. It's a matte full coverage cream concealer. And so this concealer I love to use with a buffing brush, which is a Real Techniques deluxe crease brush. I call it buffing because it's nice and tight for buff. And I'm going to pick it up with the brush and apply it with the brush, and then we'll blend in with the sponge. So I'm going to put that directly under my eye, and then I'm also going to put it here and put it up in the shape of a C, and then we're going to connect. And so this is going to help to bring these areas forward, bring light. It's a concealer, so it's obviously going to further conceal, but mostly brighten, and I'm going to show you the difference because we'll do one eye at a time. So do you guys see how lifted this area is in comparison to this? It's just the look that we're going for. Again, you can skip this. You can try it if you haven't done it before. It is honestly life-changing. And with products like this that are nice full coverage cream, you don't need a lot. So just keep that in mind. And so what I like to do with just a little bit of product is even things out. So I'll apply some in the forehead, I'll apply some on the chin, just so that when you're looking at photographs or even looking at yourself in person, everything is even. You don't want to just have a ghostly raccoon looking under eye and then everything else is kind of just in the shadows. That's where we get a lot of that, I don't want to look like a raccoon. And when people come in saying that to Sephora, it's partially, yes, the color is definitely off sometimes, but you can also ask how the client is applying their concealer to make sure that we are evenly highlighting the entire complexion and not just your under eye area. Very important. All right, guys, so I'm pretty happy with where the complexion is at right now, which means I'm going to start setting things in place. So for that powder, I'm going to pull out a really good multi-skin type, multi-age group powder, which is the Mineral Veil powder. They've got the Mineral Veil primer and powder, and they both do the same thing. They're very blurring, except this powder is very light. It's honestly one of my favorite powders at Sephora. So we are going to move on to doing the under eye area while we're letting that set. And so we're going to go back into our The Muse palette, and we're going to use the same color in the same orders, but we are going to just blend out and smoke a little more. I want to make the under eye area a little darker throughout, and then use a beige ivory white under the lash line for the lower lash line. All right, guys, so look at these eyes. Yes, I love it. Look at this. Okay, moving on. All right, so let's do some finishing of the complexion, and we are going to use a setting powder to just kind of dust off the bakage that we did, the mini bakage, and then I also want to kind of color correct a little bit with this powder. So I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish in medium. I like using this with a fluffy brush, super fluffy brush. This is the Jaclyn Hill X Morphe JH01. This is really more to smooth things through, make sure my complexion is ready to receive more powder. So like the powder contour, blushes, highlights, and things like that. You want to make sure your bases, just like when we set our eyeshadow with a eyeshadow powder before we go in or a powder before we go in, the same thing happens so that when you're working things into the skin, you're not getting stuck with wet product. So we are taking this guy, which is the NYX Highlight and Contour Pro Palette. I love this. It's a good, inexpensive drugstore palette to get your face all cut up, contoured up. We're gonna mix, actually no, I'm gonna take this color, what's that? HCP S07. Sculpt is what that shade is called. Oh my gosh. The names are here, and I don't know if you guys have how many tutorials you've seen of mine. I've never said it by name because I thought I didn't have a name, but sorry, it does. And it's been a long time that I've been using this. Sorry guys. So we're gonna use Sculpt to sculpt the face. I'm gonna work this up into an E or a 3 depending on the side that you're working on. I just like to put the most amount of product on the cheekbone and then underneath the chin. So what are we gonna do next? The highlight. I brought out an oldie but a goodie highlight. This is the Fenty Kilowatt in Mean Money and Hustler Baby. Guys, I use the crap out of this. You see the indentation when it first came out. Love it. I mixed in both colors to my highlighting area, and so that's gonna be in the shape of a C cheekbone up over the brow. Can we just take a minute to like acknowledge the brow presence here since I just did them? Complexion's on point. Love it. This look is so cute. All right, and then we have Fenty Beauty Kilowatt in Mimosa Sunrise and Sangria Sunset. Can I just say, one time I tried to do an ad on Facebook describing like everything so you know it could be shown to the masses, and it wouldn't approve it because it said that I was promoting alcohol because of the name to this Kilowatt. Come on now. Anyways, so we are gonna use, which one are we gonna use? Do we want a little pinky moment or do we keep it monochromatic with the, I think we're going for a little bit monochromatic. Let's do it. We're gonna use just the Mimosa Sunrise side and an angled brush. I love angled brushes, obviously, but I like it for applying blush because it keeps it right here. I'm gonna use the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist. I love how fine the filter in this thing is. I hate the button. It should be like a continuous moment. Blurred. So let's do the lips. What are we doing for lips? All right, guys, so this is the finished look here. We went for a neutral nude lip, duh. And so we did it using a few drugstore items or drugstore priced items. So you have the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Maison. I also have the lip color was a Hank & Henry Satin Matte Lip in the color Lust. Now that is my drugstore combination there. However, I also have been into lip gloss lately, which wasn't the fact before, but it is now. And it's not a drugstore item, but I use this lip gloss over absolutely everything. I don't care what color it is, I use it over it. And it is the Too Faced Peach, Sweet Peach, Creamy Peach Oil Lip Gloss in the shade. It is such a good gloss. I mean, it goes over everything so nicely. On its own with some lip liner, it is also beautiful, but it just tops everything off so nicely. But that is it for us today. This is the finished look, guys. I hope that you guys liked it. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. Also subscribe to my channel. I'm actually planning on showing you different lip alternatives for the fall. with the same look. Like, I'm literally gonna film it. So if you guys want to see different lip alternatives, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button because it is going up this week. So that is it for today. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Like the video, comment, post it, reshare, and let's get us to our 1,000 subscriber by 2021 goal. I know that we can do it because you guys are awesome. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you, bless you, and I'll see you guys next time.